Hello everyone, it's great to have you all together again, and I am here today on this beautiful fall day. We've just had a couple of days of steady rain, so we're grateful for that. It'll help to fill up some of the wells that are dry around our area, I'm sure. And in the fall I like to get out my material, my flour and baking powder and so forth, and make baked goods. It keeps the house toasty warm and provides us with great food to eat. So today I'm going to work on something you may never have considered making, and that's a shame because it doesn't require an oven even to make it, and that is English muffins. They're a very simple dough to put together, and the rising time is the only thing. It's a couple of hours. But other than that, it's really simple, and I'd like to show you today how it works. So hang in there. I will go gather up everything, get it out here, and we will get started on this super easy project. The first ingredient we need is some water. We need 1 1/4 cups of water in a large bowl. So far, and we need 1 tablespoon of sugar because we need to activate the yeast. And that takes a tablespoon of sugar, and then we need a teaspoon of yeast. And there we go. Now, we're going to cover this up and let it sit here for the next 10 minutes. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes have passed. And I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but this has gotten quite frothy, which is what we want to see. We want it to we want proof that the yeast is good, and it is. So then we're just going to go through and add the rest of the ingredients to the dish. So we need 2 tablespoons of oil. There's not many ingredients in this either, which really helps when we're trying to save a little bit of money. And I don't know, I can honestly say I don't know what it costs to buy English muffins, because when you make them regularly, you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. And now that didn't take much ingredients, and I'm going to add 2 3/4 cups of flour, but I'm going to do them kind of one at a time. So I will mix in between each one and kind of get the dry stuff all gone before I add the next one, because we don't need this for a really long time. So we'll do a little bit of the work with the spoon that we can up front. Ready for the next one. And these come out so delicious. You may not know, if you've never made them before, you may not know that English muffins are made in a frying pan. And we're going to need our frying pan brought up to about a medium temperature and then lowered to low. And the cooking time in total is 16 minutes. So it's a quick recipe, and one that once you've made it, you're going to find yourself making it again and again. Now, we need 3/4 cup here, so 2 3/4 cups in total. And I'm just going to set that out of the way and get to rolling here. Get to stirring. This recipe makes beautiful, tender English muffins, and I am so glad I learned this years ago. I actually learned it from YouTube, and I'm not sure which channel I was watching. I went back to try and, you can look in your history to try and look at my history, but I've watched so many different YouTubes that I couldn't find it. And then when I just went online looking for recipes for it, I found that there were so many and they were all pretty much the same. So I feel comfortable sharing the recipe. It's not, I didn't make the recipe up, but I certainly couldn't find out who did originally make up this recipe. So now we need a little bench flour, and I might need to go get a little more. We've got this dough all just mixed up. I did this all in real time. And you just mix it in the bowl until there's no flour left in the bowl that's dry. And then you turn it out, and it's going to be a sticky dough anyway, but it shouldn't be sticky enough that it's sticking to your board. So if you find that's the case, then add a little flour. And now we're going to mix this for about 5 minutes. Right down to the bottom of my flour bin. So I am just going to knead away. Now, some people knead and make lists, or they knead and they hum, or they just let their mind wander, and some people wander, and some people, when they knead, they pray. And considering the present state of the world, I think we could all be making English muffins and kneading and praying. So we want this to become kind of silky and smooth, but we don't want it to lose. Still feel like it could use a little more flour, so I may have to go back to the cupboard. We don't want it to lose its nice soft texture. We just don't want it to be sticky. And that can take a little doing. Once we get this mixed, we are going, I'm going to the cupboard for another cup of flour. Once we've got this kneaded, we are going to take it and put it into an oiled bowl, a clean one. You could use this one. There would be no harm in that. I'm going to use a clean one. Put it in a clean bowl, and you're going to rise this for an hour. And as you can see, you can make, I mean, the physical part of making English muffins does not take a whole lot of time. And I use a bread machine a lot, and you're going to see an upcoming video where I'm going to be showing you how to use your bread machine more than you may. So I want to maybe give you some ideas about what you can do with your bread machine. Anyway, I hear the phone humming away. I forgot to shut it off. That's probably my husband calling me, my lunchtime call. Anyway, I feel like this is good. It's feeling really good. Might be a little bit sticky. Not bad though. Let's give it a couple more rolls here. Make sure that we're getting it. There. I'm going to call that good. Now I'm just going to dump a little bit of oil into this clean bowl. Just the smallest amount. It doesn't need to be much. And brush it around. And then I am going to put the dough in and turn it over so that it's got the oil, an oiled side up. I'm going to cover this with my towel, put it over near my stove, and I'm going to let it rise for an hour. Then I'll bring you back and we'll do the next step. I'll see you shortly. Well, we've been through our first rise, and I have let the dough double in size. And I'm just going to pour it out onto my bench. And I'm going to take most of the air out of it. This is still quite a sticky dough. So I'm glad to have a little oil on it. And I'm going to take most of the big air pockets out of it. And I am going to make it into a log or a loaf, and I am going to, my goal is to make 10 of these beautiful English muffins. So I'm going to try for the center, and then I am just going to go at it and try and come up with 10. We'll see how close I can get it, eyeballing it. And, well, I don't know. If you've never tried them homemade, you're definitely missing out. And they're definitely not hard to make. Now, I'm going to take the pieces. I'm going to get a little flour for my hands. Now I'm going to make a little ball, and I'm going to tuck all the loose ends into the ball. And then I have over here, now you could use cornmeal. I don't have any cornmeal at the moment, so I'm just using a piece of parchment paper in the bottom of one of my big baking sheets. And you just lay the ball on there and flatten it out. Flatten it out so that it's at least, less than a half an inch probably. And then move on to the next one. And these are still pretty sticky. So I'm going to make a ball. And then I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to flatten it out. And these yummy little delights, once you've made them once, you'll understand what a treat they are. And while you may not make them every week, when you do have company and they're coming to spend a night, you will make these little delights maybe the day before and have them ready so that you can make eggs Benedict in the morning, or just provide them with some good homemade jam, or whatever it is you might like to put on your English muffin. But I can tell you, this dough is a little sticky this time. Normally you won't have to flour them. I'm not sure what I did there, but it's okay. The flour is solving the problem. And I'm just flattening them out. So anyway, back to my story. I think that these would be really well received. The first time I had a homemade English muffin was at a local restaurant called The Island, and we went there one morning to have eggs Benedict, because they make a delicious eggs Benedict there. And it turns out that they made their English muffins from scratch, and oh my goodness, it made such a difference. So I then was determined to make them myself, and I started to do my research, as I do when I'm looking for a new recipe. And yes, there are lots of people out there making English muffins, and had I known they were so simple to make, I would have done so many moons ago and saved myself some anxiety. I have never bought an English muffin. Oh, maybe I have somewhere in my past. But, so the only time I've ever really had English muffins was when I ordered an eggs Benedict somewhere. We are just about there, folks. I sure hope you find this quick little video useful and that you will give it a try. Now, once I've got them all here on the pan, I am going to let them rest for 30 minutes, and then I'll bring you to the stove and show you how we cook them. Well, folks, now I'm over here at the stove and I have my English muffins here on my sheet pan. I've lightly oiled a frying pan, a pretty big frying pan, and I'm just going to lay these English muffins gently into the frying pan. And this pan, I heated it, and then I turned it down to low. On my stove, low is 2. I found that's where it works best for me, but I know that all stoves are different and that yours is probably going to be different than mine. But low is what you need. So, these are little different sizes because they're all handmade. They're not perfect and they're not cut out. So you're going to get different sizes in them, but that's the gist of it. Now we just need a lid on the pan and we'll start timing. Once we have the lid on the pan, we'll start timing for 8 minutes. Setting the timer now for 8 minutes. And we're just going to let this go undisturbed for that amount of time, and then we'll come back and turn them over and do them a further 8 minutes. So hang in there and you will see what a wonderful product this produces in the end. Now, folks, you can see the amount of condensation that's gathered, or I think you can, that's gathered on the top of the lid, and that means that, you know, the English muffins inside there are releasing some of their moisture, so they're heating up in there for sure. I am going to remove the lid and we'll start turning these guys. Now they have been 8 minutes on low, and already they are looking pretty good. And boy, oh boy, they smell so delicious. Well, some of these ones around the outside aren't picking up as much color. But that doesn't mean that they're not cooking. They are. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but I can actually hear it sizzling here. So I'm going to put the lid back on. I'm going to set the timer for 8 minutes. And then this batch will be ready. Okay, this first batch is done. And I am ready to take them out of here. So let's look at this. Let me see. Can you see that pretty well? If I turn it over, see the little bit of golden crisp on the edges, nice and light. And this is cooked. So let's get these out of here. They're just beautiful. I'm really happy with them. And folks, that's how easy it is to make homemade English muffins. You don't have to light the oven, none of those things. I'm going to put the second batch in there and cook them the same way as I did with the first go around. And we will enjoy these like nobody's business. I will come back in a minute once they've cooled. These ones have cooled a little bit, and I'll show you how to cut open a homemade English muffin. See you soon. So I wanted to show you how you preserve those little ridges inside so that they capture whatever it is you're putting on them. So you just go around the English muffin about halfway up the muffin with a fork. Ooh, this is still warm. And you Might have to put it down on a surface. I've got a little crispy bit right there. So here they are, all ready to collect up all the butter and jam or egg yolk or whatever it is that we may want to put on them. And we didn't even have to light up the stove. Folks, if you've enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments section. I would love to hear from you. If you have made English muffins yourself, then I'd love to know if your recipe is similar to mine. I am really happy to have been able to share this with you today, and I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. And when you do that, hit that little bell, because that will mean that you will be notified anytime I put up a new video. So this is all for today, folks. I hope that you're all well, and I look forward to bringing you another video very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.